Okay, new idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to react to something that I'm watching that I have no idea how copyright works. So I'm going to react to or say my feelings about something, but you're not going to hear it, at least to start. Uh, Not that any of these videos I think would be monetized. I don't know the intricacies of it, so I'm not going to put like little videos and then I do like 3 seconds and I stop every once in a while. I'm just going to react through something and then I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And then we'll go from there. I also made a little note that's up here. It's just a pair of eyes staring at me. It's a very crudely drawn set of eyes that I'm talking to that's slightly off center. There we go. Yep. Slightly off center from where the camera is. So there we go. That's almost perfect. Okay, so that's where the eyes are. So that's who I'm going to be talking to, and it's telling me to talk to them. So that's what I'm going to be looking at when I'm talking to you. And then I'm going to listen to something that you can't hear. But I'll tell you what it is, and you'll just have to believe me that that's actually what it is. And then I'm going to react to that, and there's going to be a silence there. Now, here's what I'm going to want you to do. Any and everything that I'm going to react to, I'll leave like links to the original videos for you to watch and or support whoever the original content creator is for that thing. I'll put some thing, maybe it'll be like weird sort of music. It's as if I'm talking to you and then you're watching something else and then we're talking about that thing. If I put it, then everybody gets weird because I guess they don't make enough money if you send other people to their site. I mean, like if you're just watching me talking about it and then it's silent, it's just like staring at me. It's just going to be like super awkward, but we're going to try it because I don't know what the alternative is currently. So currently I've been sort of on a binge in reference to the album, I guess you can call it. I mean, it's a comedy special, but album from Burnham. Um, it's a little weird. I've seen some things up that have been reactions of people layering the video and then them talking about it, and they stop every once in a while, they talk about it. And then I've also heard or seen, heard because sometimes I just kind of listen to it on YouTube, but seeing people who have made like animated, like caricature stuff, like little animations that like are living out the music, which that's its own thing. I'm not going to do any of that. This is the same format, same night as the other two videos. One will have been Monday, and then the other one, I guess Tuesday, it'll go up. But you're going to see them just kind of uploading day after day. But it's all the same day. It's all the same night. I'm just kind of let another one run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to how the world works in my ear. Also, because it's like explicit, so I'm not trying to get any issues. Like I want my kids to be able to watch this and hear their dad ranting from now until forever. They're just all the videos, just trying not to curse and get age restricted. That like people can't like watch and hear what I'm saying. Again, not that people's kids should be listening to me. Like I'm not an authority on anything that I'm talking about, but if my kid wanted to watch and like, hey, what's my dad doing? And they could like watch a video and be like, oh, that's what my dad was doing. That's what he thought about this thing. And that'd be nice. I guess better than me just calling him and telling him. So I'm going to put it on. Don't try and sync because I'm going to be listening to it in a weird way. It's going to sort of just be on in the background of my ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about what I've heard after watching the special again. Just beyond, I've seen the special at least 3 times now, and heard all of the songs and sketches, skits, whatever you want to call them that he's done. There's certain ones that I think that people are reacting to. I'm not going to talk about those other ones right now. We're just going to focus on how the world works. There are parts of it that I think are important. Not to talk about because no one else talked about them. I'm not going to be the first person to discuss most of the things that I think I'm going to talk about. Um, but I've got a mouth and I can say words, so we're going to do that. Um, yeah. So the song is. I'm going to talk through the song as it's in my ear. Um, the way that he describes what's going on in the world, I think, is an interesting take on. Like you take a lamb chop sort of kid approachable concept, like just kind of singing it in like an upbeat way, and then talking about this kind of sort of ridiculousness that the world is. Um, you start off a song talking about things that kids talk about, crickets and just the things in the world, how they interact with each other. Great, that's how the world works. That's approachable. That's a way to reel you in and like, oh, this will be a song talking about ecosystem, like how things as the symbiosis of the world kind of functioning together, like everything's just kind of like a piece to a puzzle, which is nice. I mean, who doesn't love things working together? It gets darker real quick. Uh, I'll say this: the middle part of all of the songs tends to be that, like, you'll start. I don't want to say normal. I feel like that's really condescending. It's very well put together. It's not normal, but like there's the introduction. There we go. The beginning is the introduction to the concept. So whatever the song's talking about. The middle is sort of the build up. You get sort of the meat of what it is that he's talking about, and then the end is where it just devolves into whatever. And then you're left to kind of interpret what you will from what he's done. Um, Introducing the sock puppet. I don't know what puppet is. Introducing the sock puppet idea, and again, watch the special. That way, I think I'll link it if I remember to. The sock puppet edition is clever. It again kind of throws you off. I think in general it's just like his style. He'll start very unassuming, and then lure you in. Oh, this is catchy, and then kind of beat you over the head with a concept, which isn't bad. I mean, some people they have to be lured in, and then oh, this is catchy. It's kind of like an earworm that's sticking in my head, and then they're thinking about things. Introducing the sock puppet aspect is again the concept of okay, here are these things that when addressed or when initially presented to you, it must be friendly. It's a sock puppet. Like sock puppets don't do bad things. They don't say bad things. They don't address bad topics. It's for children. Like it's a sock puppet. It'll be fine. That's a great idea because then again, it gets people comfortable in it's a catchy song. There's a sock puppet. Let's see where this goes. He's already talked about sort of the baseline. There's animals, there's birds, and there's the trees and leaves and such. That's fine. It should be fine because now there's a sock puppet. Like he's reinforcing this is going to be a positive type of song. It won't be. It's not a spoiler. If you're listening to this, you've obviously heard either the song or any of the other ones, and you know it's going somewhere. Or you've heard something he's done, and you're like, he doesn't do just happy stuff. This guy's got other things going on. He's got other things in mind. I'm sort of rambling the way that I did before because now it's playing in my ear, and I'm not talking about everything that he's saying. Because some of the stuff I feel like I wouldn't say want to edit, but again, I need it to be okay for kids. Which is why I probably then won't link that. You'll be able to find the video because you're an adult and you can find things. But then also addressing the idea with the sock puppet of every person that's seen some sort of children's programming is aware of the behind the scenes. I'm going to be as high level with this as I can, assuming that some child will see it and don't want to spoil all of their childhood entertainment that they think is as real as it is. That's fine. We're going to breeze past that. But the song does address that concept, the idea of the who's in control, the person that truly affects the change in the world at large. There are people that have conversations about things like, hey, here's how I want stuff to do. But then there is ultimately a person underneath that has more of the control and that this is how things are going to go. Because regardless of what you say, you are kind of linked to what I'm doing because I'm the person that's allowing you this space, which is an interesting conversation to have. The idea of people wanting to speak about injustices that are going on, people speaking about inequalities that are going on, and wanting to have that space to say, okay, well, what's going on? Which is nice, I guess. I think it's got its place. There are people out there doing good work. It's happening in colleges. It's happening in people holding forums, people talking about it on YouTube and such. And again, me acknowledging I'm obviously not the first person to talk about this. But there's something to be said for the fact that regardless of your views on the artists themselves or the people that come to you with the conversations that are similar to where the artist is trying to direct the tone of the conversation that people would have, there's just inequalities. I mean, the song talks about it as like a chorus. So people want to be informed, right? People want to make the best decisions that they possibly can based on the information presented to them. And they want to feel like they're making change. They want to feel like they're not part of the problem, they're part of the solution. And at times, people can feel that because they're not being given, let's call it credit for what they're doing. Like, oh, like I get a pat on the back. Like I remember in school, everyone was given like participation trophies and everybody was given like acknowledgement for everything that they did. Like, yes, you're doing a great job. Like, thank you for doing these great things. That's great. Like, that's good. That's needed. That's necessary in the progress moving forward. The problem is that when you have a conversation about inequality, the person that is unequal is not always going to feel the need to do the same amount of work as the person who didn't feel the inequities. Yeah, like that I'm gonna leave that. That's fine. I think that's the way I was trying to say that. Basically, if I've lived a life where most of my life has been judged on who I am, and people being able to see me, not hear me, not have a conversation, not know a backstory, who I am, where I come from, but people just genuinely feel hey, I see a guy, I know a potential outcome based on who I'm seeing. That person that they are now judging, the person that they are now assuming is going to act a certain way or be a certain way, is not always going to feel the need to help that person who made those judgments get to a new way of thinking. It's possible that they could. I mean, I suppose I'm up for it at times. It can be exhausting. It can be exhausting doing it every day. Like putting on the best explanation I can give is if you're given every single day this thought process of like, this is the person you have to be. This is the face you have to put on. This is how you have to act. This is how you have to present yourself to the world around you. Because everyone is going to have this wall built up. They have this preconceived notion of the person that you are. In order for you to overcome those obstacles, overcome those walls, here is the person you need to present in order for people to be accepting of you. That baggage is heavy. Like, it's a lot to deal with. And it can be exhausting most times. Like, it can be just genuinely, I don't feel like doing it today. I'm just going to say no. That's not coming from a place of not being willing to work with other people. That's not coming from a place of, I don't want to help anyone. But it's just a reality of, okay, like, let's be honest. Like how difficult must it be to feel the weight of something every day and to feel the impact of other people's choices every day, and you can potentially have no influence on it, right? Like, it could just be people who see you in the grocery store. It could just be people who see you at work who don't interact with you. That's a lot to deal with, and that's just how the world works. Like, people have their views of other people, not good or bad, like how you frame it, and it's based on history. Like, in history, people view things differently. With time, you get perspective, and then you look back and you're like, I shouldn't have thought that. The way that the song frames everything is in a more realistic sort of tone. Of most of history is built on the conquest of others and the reshaping or the reframing of history to place in a better light the people who succeed. Nobody wants to be looked at in a bad way. I know I don't. You couldn't tell by the fact that I'm scruffy and I haven't shaved and cut my hair, whatever. But nobody wants to be in a bad light. Like, nobody wants to admit, like, oh, I have faults. I did these things wrong. That was bad. Maybe I should try again. So they'll kind of edit things so that it looks better. I mean, that's what everybody wants to do. I also realize that I've done a lot more looking at the music that I'm listening to than the thing. That thing is going to remind me as I do more. I don't know, whatever. But most people don't want to be seen in a bad light. So to have the conversation of, okay, there are people who are dealing with a negative situation. There are people who live in a negative environment, not just as a function of environmental factors, but sometimes it's just psychological. Like, sometimes people are just conditioned to believe that their life must be a certain way. It must be a certain outcome. And that's just how the world works. Like, I will have to be this person. I will have to do these things because that's just how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. There's the potential for change. Like, people can want things to be different and people can move towards actual change. But there is a reality of, I can want to grow a crop. I can want to create a YouTube channel. All of this. I can want to, have a kid. I can want to, have a job, go on a vacation. But there's going to be steps to get there, right? Like, it's not all just, I believe it should be that way, so there it is. If it was, none of this that I'm currently doing would happen, because it'd just be all sort of fancy transitions and cuts and magic. But it's a work in progress, right? So the song highlights that, okay, here's how the world works. Here's how the artist, being the Caucasian male, this is how I view things. I want to help affect change. How do I do that? As per usual with his comedy stylings, it takes a darker tone of, hey, I'm looking to do better. Like, I'm looking to be informed. I'm looking to take some information, gather what it is that I can do better, and then, be that person in public and be that person in private and do better. And again, going back to the sock puppet, there's a softening of the message, has a very, that's not the responsibility of the downtrodden. Like, that's on you. Like, go figure it out. Like, do the work and then come back. And then, again, the artist takes creative license, let's call it, and sort of shifts, even though it's more the conversation of the Caucasian male shifts the conversation to the perspective, let's call it, of the downtrodden, of like, right, but the person who's in charge is asking a question, and that person should be given an answer. And I think that can be the tiring part for people. That feeling of, whether it's at work, whether it's, social groups, friends that you have, what have you, that tiring feeling of someone's asking a question, they deserve an answer, right? Whether it's you were taught that in school, your family taught you that, like, hey, someone's asking a question, it's rude not to answer if they're trying to be polite and like find out information. That being said, it's not always the responsibility of the person who has been hurt to inform the person that hurt them the steps to change, right? You can inform that, hey, there has been a transgression, there's been an issue. Here are the things that are wrong. But to then say, okay, here's the things that are wrong, here are all the steps that you need to take to fix them. You can come up with an idea, but again, I mean, you kind of got to wonder, like, is the person really going to take that to heart? Like, are they just going to do those steps, right? And I'm sure there'll be people that say, yes, of course. Like, if you give me an idea of how to fix these things, then I'll just fix it. I would argue that is more of a sort of defense mechanism, that immediate, like, how dare you not give a solution, because, like, I'm looking to change. Like, I'm looking at better things. People are complaining all the time. I want to fix stuff. To that, I would say people have offered solutions, and usually when solutions are offered, there is a concept given of, oh, well, people are just looking for handouts. Like, oh, you're saying to fix things. Oh, that's not fixing stuff. Like, that's just giving people an unfair advantage. Which, again, shows the lack of understanding, I think, that people have, that there was inequality. Like, I don't think they understand what the concept of inequality is. Like, someone was not equal to you before. They offer a solution that you feel will make it unequal, like they're being given something. But that was the problem, right? Like, you have two people. One person started higher, and the other person here is like, hey, I need you to change some things so it can be equal now. Person here is like, okay, well, what can I do to make it equal? Hey, give me some stuff so that we're equal. And then the person here is like, oh, that's not right. You shouldn't just be given stuff. I wanted to make you equal, but like, I can't just give you stuff. Like, that's unfair. Which, again, kind of seems, I want to call it disrespectful. I guess it is kind of disrespectful. Like, it just, if I'm telling you that I'm hurt, and I'm saying, okay, here are the ways to fix the being hurt, and then your response is, well, you're just being a victim. Just figure it out on your own. Then what is the conversation? And I think that's kind of, and I could be reading this wrong. Not that I think that the artist is going to reach out to me and be like, how dare you besmirch my art? You didn't get it. But I could be reading it wrong. But I think that's kind of where it's going. Like, it's taking an idea, it's presenting the information, it's doing it in a way that kind of lulls people into that. Like, I remember as a kid, there was, insert children's programming with puppets and or sock puppets. And then presenting information that's unpleasant, again, in a sing-songy sort of way. And then realizing, okay, but here's the reality. Like, I can tell you, as the person is downtrodden, things, Caucasian person, or person in power, doesn't have to be Caucasian, but person in power, traditionally Caucasian person, here are things to fix. Like, here's how you can change stuff. Getting upset, while understandable, I get upset about stuff, people get upset. Getting upset and saying that people are just looking for handouts misses the point entirely. And I think that the song does a good job of softening people, presenting information, and then ending on a down note, like kind of like a darker tone, to make people have to think about, okay, but the reality is, regardless of what you're thinking that you want to say or do or talk about, there is just a problem, right? Like, there's an unfair advantage that some people feel exists. And to shy away from it because it's uncomfortable feels like it's going to just keep contributing to the problem, right? There's a video. The next video is going to do something slightly on this tangent, but off this tangent, you'll get it because there's something else I want to address it's very random. Like it ties to this, but it's not about this. So that I could talk about that, but like a whole video about that. The point of this video is that the song was good. I thought it was catchy. I thought the way it was presented was good. I think the message presented in a lighthearted way might make people a little bit more receptive to it. I think it's going to be missed by a lot of people, which is unfortunate, because people are going to they're going to be more consumed with the other themes of the special. And I think that's going to make people miss some of I don't want to say it's the important, but like some of the undertones that are there that are trying to be pushed, but I think people are going to miss it because there are some other things. And I can talk about those other things later. There's other songs where, of the videos that I've seen, that seems to be the focus that people are going on. But and again, I'll talk about this in another video. But with how the world works, it's a good presentation of the same information, and it's catchy enough and condensed enough that I think it can spark a conversation where people can talk about something. And again, it's the traditional, I can say something all I want. Like I make like a fancy song and make it catchy and stuff and spend a bunch of time creating it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna make people think. Like if you have a platform where you can talk about it and present the information to people, people tend to listen a little bit more. So, I mean, why not use that influence to try and make people talk? Even if you can't affect change, maybe you can start a conversation where it'll lead to change. Like it'll make things better moving forward. My overall impression, in general, of the comedy special is good. I think some of the songs, I think, are more lighthearted, and even listening to the lyrics and like understanding the lyrics are not like. I guess everything's not going to be as controversial, I guess, as this song could potentially be seen. But I do think that that's an important thing to do, like to have those conversations that are going to just make people uncomfortable. So I'm going to stop this video. Again, it's something to do weird. Like I'm actually going to tell you I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do the staring thing yet. Not in this one. Maybe the next one. But I'm going to do the staring one in this one. But I do want to discuss the other video topic, so I'm going to work on that one. And then I'll move from there. And then I have to figure out something with the background. Like this weird white background, which I mean, I guess kind of seems like it might be. Well, no, I guess it doesn't seem like it'd be a green screen because you can see the little things on the floor and whatnot. But like it's I gotta do something about the background. I don't think it's gonna be tonight because tonight's just making a bunch of stuff and then putting it out over several days. So you'll see like the same shirt and scruffiness. And then me rambling because I'm caffeinated and just ready to rant as long as it's 30 minutes already almost. I mean, it's just me just talking about nonsense. I started with a train of thought. I started with hey, I'm gonna this thing that I'm gonna talk about, and I'm today stuff. It's kind of coherent, I think. I just started talking, so I don't listen when I talk. If that's a surprise to anyone, I just kind of talk and then hope that I end up at a reasonable destination and people are willing to go with me on the journey. So this is gonna be that outlet. This is gonna be the journey for me to take when I'm thinking something. I just like sit down and say, hey, world, here's some stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it now. And then in the description, I'm not going to put the video because I realize I said kids potentially watch it. And I want them to go and watch the video because it's going to have some topics that maybe they shouldn't be thinking about. because it's like got explicit language and such. But as it stands currently, I'm going to end the video. There's going to be either this video or maybe some of the next videos will have like a Patreon link, because I'm going to put it everywhere. I'm going to go aggressive with just all of the just give me the stuff, the attention, that just make it rain. So it's going to be all over the place. It's not a prerequisite. You don't need to click on the link if you don't want to. It's just it'll be there. Like it's just kind of sitting there, you know? Like when they have those donation things when you go to the grocery store. It's like, I could donate, but will I? Same thing. It'll be everywhere moving forward. The old ones I don't think I'm going to put on there. I might. I don't know. You'll see. I don't know currently because I don't know if I'm going to do it. But like if I might put it back catalog and see what happens. I think that's it. That's it for now. That's it. I'm done. That's it for now.